Before I say a single word today, let me warn you. Nollywood is sitting on a ticking time bomb. And if the leaders don't wake up, this entire industry may explode, not in success, but in scandal. Today, I'm going to be naming the villains, the victims, complete with receipts, and then be talking about 12 critical reforms that Nollywood desperately needs right now before things get worse. So today I told myself, let me take a short break from politics that many of you know me for speaking out against of recent. And I told myself for once, Ulster, your mayor of Fadeyi double barrel, usually reserved for politicians, ministers, and other national comedians who are parading themselves as national leaders. There's another industry I'm deeply invested in, one that should be a multi-billion-dollar pillar of our economy, a national export that we can count on, an African cultural weapon, and a global creative powerhouse. But instead, what do we have right now? We have an industry that is limping and crawling like a man whose legs have been crushed under a caterpillar on Third Mainland Bridge. No, I'm not talking about the legal profession. The day I take on the judiciary with my full Fadeyi arsenal, that day is coming and very soon, maybe this week. And when that day arrives, even the wigs on their heads is going to vibrate, because that is another industry that is really very disappointing right now. But today, I want to talk about Nollywood, the entertainment industry that I've personally invested money, time, and passion, and a lot of blood pressure into. And I want to talk about it with truth, not sentiment. In case you don't know who I am, my name is Ope Banwo. I'm an attorney, business consultant, lifestyle coach, as well as a public affairs analyst, and plenty other stuff. In short, I'm one of those lawyers who talk too much and has passionate ideas and opinions on everything, especially in the 5 sectors I'm particularly passionate about. That's including governance, digital business, empowerment / personal development, law, and of course, the entertainment industry. So I know who I am. So I thought I would let you know in case you have not yet asked somebody. Okay, you can call me Jack of all trades, master of none, and that'll be okay too. That's a good title. Right now, what I need you to do for me before we go on, please, is please follow this channel. It's relatively new. It's called Nollywood Fanatics TV, where we are going to be talking a lot about the goings on in Nollywood. We're going to be doing movie reviews. We're going to be doing rants. We're going to be doing training. We're going to be doing monetization talk, things that actually will edify and lift up the industry. So just do something for me right now. Just click that button below and subscribe to this channel, and then activate the notification and help me share this link of this live show to 2 or 3 people. Please, I need that, because we need to grow this channel quickly so that we can have an impact in the marketplace. Thank you for doing that. I really, really appreciate it. Now, before we really get into the villains and victims of the crawling Nollywood and the 12 things we need to do to fix the emergent problems from the topic, let me first give this caveat, or confession, if you like. I'm a direct shooter. Those who know me know that. I'm not just an outsider commenting on Nollywood. I've been deeply involved with her since our first date. I see Nollywood as a lady. I've been very involved with her since our first dates when I was the CEO of Dove Media way back in 2004. That was 21 years ago. And Nollywood has burnt me financially, emotionally, 4 different times in 3 different seasons. But like a jilted lover who goes back to his ex because he saw a new sexy selfie on TikTok, I kept going back, and I kept getting burned, and I kept getting jilted. So as I open up a whole new section of my online commentaries on Nollywood. That's why I set up Nollywood Fanatics Television. Be assured, I'm not just talking from research. I put blood and sweat on the table, and I have earned the right to speak without fear because I genuinely love this industry. And I think this industry can do a lot for our nation. So I'm not just one of those guys who is talking from idle research. I've been there. Someday I'll probably do a full emotional confession episode, if not a book, on my own personal experience with the most gross unprofessional behavior from some of the so-called professionals who are parading themselves as producers, directors, and DOPs, and even actors and actresses in Nollywood. I have the receipts and the lessons I learned so that I can equip other JJC investors or movie production dabblers who may be seduced by the beautiful exterior of the Nollywood lady so that they can be ready before daring to ask her for a date. It could be a great industry, but if you don't know what you're getting yourself into, you're going to enter one chance. I am still committed to Nollywood. I'm still a member of 2 of the guilds. I'm still investing money. This year alone, I've invested over 50 million in another disaster effort that we'll talk about later. My own experience is actually stranger than fiction. But today is not the day for me to give my own confessions of my personal experience in Nollywood, starting from 2004, then 2009 to 2015, and now this 2025. I'm going to talk about my 3 affairs on a day. Trust me, stay tuned to Nollywood Fanatics. Just make sure you follow us and get notified. I will drop it, as you know I will. And when I do, I'm going to do it straight up. So thank you so much, all those of you who are joining us live on this call right now. Please put your comment in the comment section. I'd like to hear from you as I'm going forward with this live broadcast. So when I talk about Nollywood, I'm speaking from the benefit of experience. I'm speaking from as someone who has lost a lot of money and someone who has seen the great potential that is being limited by the unprofessionalism that pervades this otherwise magical and amazing industry. So I'm not down on Nollywood. I'm down on unprofessionals who are ruining it for all of us. But seriously, we can liken Nollywood to a beautiful miracle baby that nobody thought the mother would give back to. This thing started from some Alaba guys who don't know anything about much other than they want to put content on their VHS that they were selling. And then it became a miracle baby who started walking, crawling from the first month of his birth. From the day living in bondage was dropped, Nollywood just exploded. There was no tutorial, there was no tutelage area. It went from 0 to explosive. It's an amazing baby who took his baby step, I would say, in the 3rd month of his birth. He started walking gingerly. And then tragically, he stopped growing right there. And 40 years later, living in bondage is 1992. That's when they're counting the modern Nollywood, if you don't count the movie era of the Ogun days. Living in bondage is their great starting point, and that was 1992. Almost 40 years later, it is still taking baby steps that it took in 1992. As part of my preparation to become a full-blown commentator in this industry, because when I get engaged, everybody knows me, they call me the Rottweiler. I stay engaged. I actually sat down for a few months to write a critical book, not a memoir yet, but a critical appraisal of the industry from a consultant point of view. I did a lot of research. Thank God for AI tools now. You can research almost anything in merely minutes. So I did a critical appraisal of the industry, sharing my own thoughts on how to finally make this underachieving baby finally start walking and then even flying. I called the book one country, 2,500 movies a year. The book is actually out. The book is One Country, 2,500 movies a year, confronting the problems with Nigeria's movie industry, who is responsible, and how to fix it before it is too late. One of my very, very proud achievements of this year. All I did was sit down for 9 months of the year to write different books about different parts of the Nigerian economy, for a simple reason, so that when I am talking, I'm speaking from a position of understanding, not just talking and talking and talking and talking. I'm looking for and you can get this book right now. It just got published a few weeks ago. One Country, 2,500 movies a year at opebanwo.com/2,500 movies. And it will blow your mind away because I did a thorough research, fully receipted, because I named names. Oh yeah, I named names. I named instances, and I recited them so that nobody can sue me. So this is called a cutting consultant level analysis of Nollywood. This is just one of my many books coming out in Nollywood. I just finished a YouTube monetization playbook that is going to be coming out very soon. So this is something I prepared for. This is not just a one-shot dig at Nollywood. I'm going to be all over it for a very long time. That's why I created the NollywoodFanatics.com blog, so that I can blog every day about Nollywood. And I created this TV channel called Nollywood Fanatics Channel. So I'm here for the long haul. For those of you who might be thinking, we'll soon tire of Nollywood and go, no, I'm not. So let us begin. Today, we are going to focus on the villains and the victims, and why Nollywood will rise or collapse on the shoulders of their leaders. If Nollywood were a human body, the producer will be its spine, the hidden structure that holds everything upright, even when the knees are shaking. But as we speak today, that spine is cracking. Not under one problem, but under an avalanche of stress, under training, ego clashes, entitlement, and outright madness that will make even the most patient Nigerian question his own ancestral lineage. People love to call the producer the unsung hero of Nollywood. But the uncomfortable truth is that this industry is not struggling because of scripts or actors. Nollywood is struggling, and in many places collapsing, because our producer class has become a dangerous cocktail of exhausted heroes, accidental amateurs, unregulated tyrants, and overwhelmed victims. All of them are operating inside an industry with absolutely no guardrails. And before anybody starts forming ignorance, let me paint the picture with some real documented Nigerian stories, not gossipings, not whisperings, not anonymous sources. Like I said in my book, I name names with confidence because is fully receipted. Let's take one story. When a crew member was strangled on set and nobody could deny it. On October 28, 2025, during the filming of a movie called Lagos to Opulence, a production manager named Aniarobi Unwasat Courage reportedly attacked the head of makeup. Her name is Mary Chizi Eze. Beat her up, tore her clothes, and strangled her on set. Yeah, strangled her on set because she complained about unfair treatment. I wasn't there, but this was reported in Premium Times, October 29, 2025. So I'm making a fair comment on a story that is in the public domain. Don't come looking for me. If that story is wrong, go meet Premium Times. I'm making a comment as a commentator, which I'm legally allowed to do. According to the story that we read on this Premium Times, October 29, 2025, it didn't stop until multiple crew members dragged him off her. Imagine that. Imagine that, people. a Nigerian film set turned into a WWE SmackDown. And the most tragic part is that insiders were not even shocked. They shrugged, but this was not an exception. It was just the first time someone was bold enough to repeat it and get it documented and get the culprit arrested. And why did this happen? Because Nollywood has no structure that they are enforcing. They do have some structure. I don't believe that Nollywood has no structure. They have. It's just that the structures are collapsing. No accountability. No real training for producers or production managers or DOPs, the three most critical people on the set. No reliable oversight and no consequences for stupidity. As we are just seeing in the case of Taye, that the guilt just came out, and that will be another video I'll be doing. I'm going to be appraising the judgment of the three guilds who got together to make that decision in the case of Taye and Peggy. But that's not today. This is the rot we pretend not to smell in Nollywood. And then we wonder why we are not getting the respect we need to get globally. Another story. Please tell me what to think about that one first. Where the makeup person was strangled on the set and nothing happened. No consequences. Do you think that's a shame? Do you think that is okay? What do you think about that? I need your comments in the chat box right now so that we can have a conversation as this broadcast is going on. Let me tell you another story. When a movie set became a battlefield between an actor and an actress producer, I mentioned it briefly before. In this story that happened very recently, I'm talking less than a month, reported in the Pulse Nigeria, November 13, 2025. I also happened to be in a couple of groups where this was being discussed in real time. We were actually watching the movie, the CCTV in real time. So this actor, Taye Arimoru, publicly alleged he went live and claimed that he was beaten, prevented from leaving the set, and assaulted during a confrontation involving actress and producer Peggy Ovire. He claimed that he was attacked and left with an injury. Then Peggy and her production manager countered and said that he was the one who attacked the crew and caused the chaos. Forget who was right or wrong for a minute. The guilds have issued their ruling, and that will be the subject of a whole new show. But let's leave that for a second. What shocked the public the most was the fact that a movie set, a place supposed to be governed by a chain of command, safety protocols, and professionalism, became a street ball. That is what blew me away as I was reading the comments in the chat groups that I was in, the two chat groups that had a lot of Nollywood people there, and they were discussing this. And I'm thinking, without necessarily commenting to what they are saying, where was the producer's authority? Where was the conflict resolution protocol? Where were the set governance structures that's supposed to guide this kind of thing? Nobody was even talking about all of that. The answer is sad but simple. They either don't exist or nobody's enforcing them, because AMP will come and claim they have all of this, and yet this is happening. Nollywood sets are running on good vibes, raw talent, brute force, and hope, not on professional system, which is how we started in 1992. That's why I said we took our first baby steps, which was an amazing thing in 1992. But that is the baby step we are still taking today. Good vibes, brute force, and a lot of prayer. I'll tell you one more story. When streaming money disappeared and movies suffered, just to paint a picture of how gross Nollywood has been. I'm part of them. Many are not going to like this broadcast, but guess what? I don't care. I'm a commentator. I belong to the, what do they call it? The AMP. I saw movie producers. I think I also belong to the DGN, Director Guild of Nigeria. I joined deliberately this year, by the way, just so that I can be inside and see what's going on. Because if we are going to fix something, you can't be talking about it from outside. So this is not me putting Nollywood down. This is me deciding it's time we wash our dirty linens in public so that we can fix it. Here's another story. Another blow, one that embarrassed the entire industry. In December of 2024, a comedian and filmmaker that all of us know, Basket Mouth, revealed publicly that many Nollywood producers take Netflix money or other streaming funds, they use only 10% of it to make the actual movie and then divert the remaining 90% to private luxuries like cars and houses. I couldn't believe my eyes. I read it. Vanguard News Online, December 18, 2024, for those who want to go verify. I can't make stories up and mention a name like Basket Mouth that the whole world knows. He said it. He came out straight out and said, that's what some people are doing. That's part of the reason Netflix is no longer trusting us. We even hear other stories, even though Basket Mouth did not say that. I have had plenty of that, where practitioners in the industry actually told me that part of the reasons that there's a couple of producers, one of them even very notorious and very popular, great producer, when Netflix finally figured out that they were not spending all the money on making movies for them, they decided that they were going to pay the crew and the cast directly. So that way, the money is not diverted. But guess what? Some of them were doing. And they actually, a lot of them mentioned one particular guy. That one I'm not going to mention today because all those who said it, they said they are not ready to come on my show and say it publicly. So if I accuse him publicly, I may open myself up to legal challenges, which I can't prove. But they said this man is a man that when he puts you on the Netflix set and Netflix pays you directly, he makes you kick back some of it to him. In other words, still collect the money back from you. What Netflix was trying to avoid, he still found a way around it. Where if they budgeted for you with Netflix that you're going to collect $1,000, this man will make you refund maybe 50% or more of that money to him after the money has hit your account. And if you don't, then you don't get cast again. And a lot of these guys told me they have to do it because they want to keep working. Hopefully, some of them will get bold as this thing become a public scandal and start coming out. And we're going to name and shame that guy. Because practices like that is what is now costing the whole industry. It makes it difficult for people like me to go raise funds to come and make big movies. Why? Because they don't trust our systems. That's another story that is out there. Now Netflix is withdrawn. But let's go back to what Basket Mouth actually said. He said, and those are his quotes, that some of them would take money, and he should know, he's a producer and an actor himself, okay, that some would take money and use only 10% to make the film and divert the remaining 90% to personal stuff like cars, houses, and side chicks. Vanguard, December 18, 2024. Imagine that, 10% of the movie, 10% of the cost of the money allocated for the movie. They spend 10% of the movie, 90% for personal enjoyment. No wonder budgets don't match results. No wonder platform executives are quietly tightening their wallets. It's not a wonder that global partners are now rolling their eyes when Nollywood pitches new projects to them. This is not miscalculation on the part of those producers. This is mismanagement, fueled by lack of accountability. Lack of accountability to the government, to the guilds, to all the people that are supposed to hold everybody accountable. I'll give you one more story, then I'll go on into what I'm about here, about solutions. A case of where government money vanished and no movies were made. Again, I don't do supposition. I'm a lawyer. I don't come here and just start taking something from the air. I see that story of Basket Mouth was not enough. We got one of the very respected filmmakers, who's also a lawyer, Mildred Oko, one of the people I respect a lot in the industry. She also later revealed that some producers collect government grants meant to revamp the industry and never produce a single film. Anybody in Nollywood will know a Mildred Oko, and you know that she knows what she's talking about because she's one of the icons of that industry. That's what she revealed. This was reported in Ripples, Nigeria, December 19, 2024. Like I told you, it's so easy to do research now. With good AI tools, you can find copies and downloaded all of them. In case some of them wants to say, no, I didn't say that. Research is too easy with AI now. And that is where we are going to be holding everybody accountable. Imagine that. Collecting government grants that was meant to revamp the industry and never producing a single film. And this person making the accusation should know not one scene, not one edit, not one deliverable item, just money gone, no accountability, no watchdog, no consequences. The government loses money, legitimate producers lose opportunities, and the industry loses credibility. We have a $200 million fund that is coming out now for the creative industry. And if care is not taken, if you don't start holding ourselves accountable, that money again, that's supposed to be an intervention fund to jumpstart the moribund creative industry that should be our highest income earner, will go down the drain the same way it went. People collecting money and they're not doing the work. That's why I'm shouting today. That's why I'll be shouting almost every day on Nollywood. That's why I created a whole different channel for them, independent of my politics channel. So please, if you have not yet followed Nollywood Fanatics TV, please do so right now. Click on the button below, follow us, and activate notification. You know why? Because you are going to be treated to an amazing expose on Nollywood. Apart from, of course, we're going to be doing movie reviews. We're going to be doing training. I'm going to be running some monetization training. I'm going to be doing AI training through this channel, mostly for free, so that we can really begin to add value, not just complain. Now, but let me also be fair. You know, I've knocked the producers. Let me also be fair to the producers and the directors and other senior crew. They are not just villains. You know, they're clearly villains many times, but they are also victims. That is the paradox of Nollywood. Behind the headlines, there are real producers who have suffered emotionally and financially more than the audience will ever know. I know that because I also interact with a lot of them. I know many of the big names. I interact with them. I'm in several of the Nollywood groups. I read what they say about themselves, what they say about their industry, and you know some of them are going through hell. Some have used their children's school fees to feed the crew. Some have slept in cars during production because accommodation budget disappeared, or maybe the EP did not bring money when it needed to bring money. Some have negotiated with area boys on one side and police officers on the other side in the same hour. Some of them have had to go buy extra fast food for some of the crew who are so hot-headed. The only way they can do is bribe them with some special food, even though they had food in the set with their own money. Some have cried in silence as actors and directors flex ego, sabotage their schedules, and torpedo their budgets. Oh, I've also seen that, where actors will come in at 6 p.m., 4 p.m., 3 p.m., when the call time is 10 a.m. in the morning. And then the producer has to run around to try to make ends meet. And that is even the cause of some of these fights that we are seeing. Some have lost millions. Some have lost marriages. Some have even lost their sanity. The Nigerian producer in Nollywood is both a hero and a hostage. And that duality is the very essence of Nollywood's crisis. The producer is the engine and also the broken gear, the protector and also the perpetrator, the victim and also the villain. And until this producer class is reformed, I'm talking root, branch, and soul, Nollywood will continue to operate as a miracle-based industry instead of a structured global powerhouse. That is the tragedy we are dealing with. That is my opening salvo into Nollywood, but everybody knows me. I do not talk without solutions, because only a useless critic will just come shout, and then it does not bring solutions to the table. That's never me. So I want to talk in this what I call my maiden broadcast on this Nollywood Fanatics TV. and there's going to be almost weekly or daily broadcast on it, depending on how I feel it. There's going to be lots of interviews. There's going to be a lot of movie critiques. But as I opened this salvo and identified broad strokes, some of the problems, I want to propose 12, what I call 12 critical reforms Nollywood desperately needs right now. Because a critic who has no solutions of his own is just a nuisance. Now, you don't have to agree with my solutions. My solutions don't even have to be practical to you. Those of you who are fully practical in it. But here is what I think we can do to strengthen this industry. My own 12 critical reforms that Nollywood needs. Let me speak plainly. As a lawyer who understands systems, as a filmmaker who has paid school fees twice, I've shot movie twice, the same movie twice with different budgets this year. And as the mayor of Fadeyi, who is tired of pretense, Nollywood does not need motivational speeches. Nollywood needs consequences, structure, enforcement, and professional rebut. And here is how I believe it must happen. These 12 fixes that we can all attempt. Number one, and I'm going to put that on my screen so that those who are taking notes, they can see what I'm talking about. And please, as I put them on, put in the chat box or the comment box, whether you agree or not, just put I agree, I disagree. And you can put whatever comments you want on it. That will help us to have a national conversation and also help those who are in a position to make changes, to know which one people are agreeing with, which one people are disagreeing with. So please make sure you comment after every of these points that I'm about to talk about. Number one solution that I'm proposing: Nollywood must become a profession, not a hobby for every Dick and Harry who will call themselves producers, directors, and DOPs. Those positions especially must be professionalized, just like a few others, like makeup, set design. They must be professionalized. Not everyone who loves movies should be a producer. Not everyone who can look into a camera should be a DOP. And definitely not everyone who can run around on the set should be a production manager. Too many untrained industry area boys, as I call them, are controlling too many critical parts of the industry. They hang around a set long enough, somebody puts a camera in their hand, and then they become DOP. No training, no essence. They do a good job of going to go buy rice for the crew in a few production. Now, all of a sudden, they are production managers. And they have absolutely no clue how to manage a production. That's why we are seeing all those fights. And I'll talk more about that when I discuss the Taye versus Peggy judgment. And it is very humbling. It's humbling the child, the Nollywood child, from working. This industry must stop enabling accidental producers and DOPs and production managers and key critical parts of the industry. We must elevate properly trained ones. They're out there. There are makeup specialists that are trained. There are set designers that are trained. Those are the ones we should start enabling and start discouraging those who never went through any tutelage or training, who just want to come and mess up the whole thing. That's my own number one recommendation. We must professionalize. Until you professionalize, we are not going anywhere. Number two, I think no producer or director should access government or investor funds or work on the set without proper certification. If you cannot define what AVOD is, or what licensing videos are, what is ROI, or how to calculate it, or P&A, or rights exploitation, you should not be touching government money. You should not be touching BOI money. This $200 million they want to give out, and I'm going to be talking about that, how they should allocate it. You shouldn't have any of that. You can't call yourself a producer. They say, come, how many AVOD companies do you know? How do you get access to them? And you can't answer. They ask you what is licensing windows, and how does it apply to your movie? And you are looking like somebody hates your mother. They say, okay, how do you plan to get the ROI of this money that you are collecting? and you are looking to your left or to your right to the person that what is ROI, they should drive you from the room. Basketman's allegations about producers misusing streaming funds and Mildred Oko's claims about government grants disappearing into thin air are proof of what happens when untrained people access serious capital. Number 3, I believe a mandatory 3-month intensive production manager, director, and DOP certification must become the entry point for all guilds. In other words, all these guilds parading themselves around. I mean, movie producers guild, a guild of directors, and all that. You should have a mandatory entry point, not just call people on video. I'll just join the guild. I know I was given a rider because they know my history. I can understand that. I produce movies, I spend money on movies, and I've been in business for a very long time. And they did my interview over the phone, and I really appreciate that. They didn't insist I must come to Nigeria, and that's okay. I'm not saying there shouldn't be waivers for those who are obviously very qualified based on their resume. But there should be, even for those of us that have been accepted online, we should be asked to go and do an intensive course, whichever one we call ourselves. If you want to be a director and be in the Directors Guild, then there should be a 3-month intensive course that you can attend online. Take online exams to get your certification. How can you be in the Directors Guild when you don't have any certification? How can you say you're in the Association of Movie Producers and you have no certification like 90% of us? I'm there. I have no certification in any of that. All of us should go through training. Production manager, the person that is really, really the one holding the whole thing together, not the producer. Producer is in his or his bedroom many times, sending production manager to be running around and fixing set. Meanwhile, the production manager has no clue, like what happened in Taye and the Obire's case. All the production manager knows is that you are not leaving my set until you go and talk to my Oga. And I'm laughing. Is this guy trained? Did somebody bother to tell him how to manage conflict? Of course he didn't know. Nobody trained him. Their guilds, each guild needs to design a 3-month intensive producer. It doesn't have to be every day, maybe twice a week or whatever, but a 3-month thing where you get certified for key roles in the industry. And you guys know what the key roles are before you can become a member of the guild. So that when you say you're a member of the guild of directors or guild of actors or guild of producers, we know that you have some basic training. But we're not doing that now. This boot camp must be exam-based, faculty-driven, field-tested, and business-heavy, not motivational. Not all those motivational WhatsApp courses that are currently parading themselves as training. I'm talking about restructured training, that their curriculum is written out well by people who should know, the experts in that field, and the deliverables are clear with practicals. That's what I'm talking about here. We need to have that if we are going to be going far in this industry, if we are going to start running, instead of to keep hobbling after 40 years. Number 4 recommendation. Nollywood needs to create a bureau of professional conduct. This should be non-negotiable. A bureau of professional conduct. This bureau must investigate set assaults like the Lagos to Opulence case, the Taye versus Obire case, cases of investor fraud, production abandonment by artists or crew, tampered budgets. We don't even know that basic one. Somebody wants to produce for you, and it tells you to transfer the money to their personal account. So there's commingling going on. The same account they are using to buy rice, that are using to take their side chick out to dinner, is where they tell you to put your 20 million for a project. So they don't even know when they have spent your money with their own money. Meanwhile, in responsible professions like law, for instance, commingling it's automatic disbarment. In America, not that you have chopped the money, but that the money entered your account. Go and ask the current chief of staff in Abuja. People are saying the man was disbarred, not because he did anything wrong, but they commingled money. From what I heard, put clients' money in the law firm's account. It's supposed to be a separate account. They call it trust fund. You put clients' money in the trust fund account, not even in your own account. But Nollywood, do they even know what that meant? You have producers who have been producing for years. And when they collect money, that money goes into the same account they are using to pay their children's school fees. And they will tell you they spend the money for production. This needs to be investigated. Unsafe bets, unsafe sets, disappearing footage, like what happened to me. I told you my own confessional story is coming on another day. This year, I came to shoot a movie. Got director, got producer, got crew. By the time I got back, they told me they lost 9 episodes out of 13. Just like that, 30 million down the drain. They lost 9 episodes out of 13. Not one time, it happened a second time because I came back again, went to raise money. But I've said I don't want to talk my own story today. Today's not about me. It's about how we're going to make this industry better. So Nollywood must create a bureau of professional conduct that will investigate set assaults that we have been seeing all over the place, investor fraud, production abandonment by cast and crew, tampered budgets, unsafe sets, disappearing footage, and all forms of professional misconduct. We have to have that. If the guilds will not set it up, then interested stakeholders should set up one. Government should set up one. We need a credible one that will work, not the ones that they do party judgment like we see in the recent case. An independent bureau of professional conduct. That's number 4 recommendation that the industry needs to be looking at, that I will be pushing for in the guilds that I'm in, unless they expel me first. That's the reason I joined them. I'm not going to join an organization and I will not be able to push for reforms. Then I might as well not be part of them. Number 5, the industry must maintain a Nollywood black book. This one, if they won't do by themselves, I will help them. And if you are watching this, you are interested in helping me to work on that. I'm talking about industry, a Nollywood black book, not gossip, not rumor, a real official record of producers who defrauded investors, actors who abandoned sets, crew members who assault colleagues. See, if we have a black book, Taye will have gone there if he abandoned the set. They don't need to tussle with him. They don't need to fight him. They just make the proper representation, the proper record, and the team will be there. Even if he denies it, he will have his own response there, but it will be public record so that anybody who wants to hire an artist can read the public record about that person in the Nollywood black book. You don't even have to have found the person guilty. If there's evidence, like it happened in the Ovire set, the pictures, the videos, you make a complaint to the bureau. Then the bureau investigates, and then it all goes in the Nollywood black book. On so and so day, there was a fight. When you do that, you have an official record of these things, of people, producers who defraud investors, actors who abandon sets, crew members who assault colleagues, directors who break contracts, EPs who sabotage productions because they want their side chick to be in a movie, and they sabotage it because they are trying to tell the producer to do his work when they are not carrying the title of producer themselves. A small industry needs more accountability, not less. Nollywood is not a small industry, but in terms of solid structure and accountability, we are still a very small industry. So we need more accountability, not less. That is my number 5 recommendation to the industry. I hope they make something with that. My number 6 recommendation, number 6, is marketing budget for movies should be mandatory as a practice for serious players. See, if before you give your money to somebody, they need to have a marketing budget for P&A. I'm recommending minimum 20% of the budget. Some are saying 10%, but 20% is just about the minimum. A film without P&A budget is like a baby without oxygen. But in Nollywood, we treat P&A budget as a nuisance, as something the producer start looking for after the movie has been finished and ready to launch. In any case, they struggle to finish the movie anyway. They are not even thinking about how they market it. They just cut it from here, cut it from here, just wangle the thing through. It's not something they think is an integral part of the movie business. But then they wonder why their movies don't make any money. P&A is critical. In many productions, it's 100% of the budget for shooting a movie. In many Nollywood movies, it's minimum 50% that they spend on P&A. Because there's a lot of movies out there. You want to cut across, you need to promote, you need to market it. But Nollywood is struggling today because marketing budget for movies has not been ingrained into their consciousness. The producers think it's a separate thing from making movie. So they come to you, we need 20 million to make a movie, and we help you make your 30 million back. When you don't fall for that, if you are new in Nollywood, if they didn't bring a solid marketing budget along with their budget for making the movie, run. Because you're never going to get your money. I know, I've been there. The marketing plan has to be solid before you part with your money. Because once you do part with your money, they make that movie, guess what? Immediately they wrap it up, they are going to the next set. You're on your own. Even producers who use their own money. That's why you see some people have done 20 movies, but they still can't afford a brand new car. You know why? Because their movies are not making money. Because they didn't think it through before they went to do it. They didn't plan the marketing. Forget the monetization now. They didn't even plan marketing. They are talking monetization. No. And we need to have that. The Association of Movie Producers, the Directors Guild, this is something they should be recommending aggressively to their members. It's what they should be taught in those certification classes I'm talking about. If you want advancing money, it's part of what you want to look at, whether this producer is a serious human being, or you're never going to get your money. Number seven recommendation from me. Number 7 recommendation. Producers and their production managers must give transparent production and revenue costs to their EPs or to themselves if they're the ones spending their own money. There should be no more emotional stories. Numbers speak and bullshit works. Not only will this make investors like me want to invest more, but it makes it easy for producers to access capital from banks, from organizations, when you have transparent, auditable records of your expenses and your revenue. Many producers cannot give you an auditable record of their expenses. Many are still using pen and paper, believe it or not. I saw it, and I could not believe my eyes. For the second time I went to shoot this year, after they screwed me up the first time, I used a very experienced old Nollywood person. When he fucked up, this young boy, who's barely 30, that you think will know better, talk a lot of long talk, and showed me some movies that he's done. He could not do accounting on set. And of course, everything got messed up. And you hear the emotional stories. The day I talk that, I'm going to mention his name. If I will invite him to studio so that I can speak his own, so that it's not like a guy just messing him up, but I will name him. The two of them, the old producer, and the young one. I will name both of them because charity must begin at home. Take this as a formal warning. If you are watching this and you know who you are, we need producers and the production managers to know how to do transparent, auditable expense of profit and revenue. Because when you have, it doesn't even matter if you made a loss. Well, financiers, typically, even in the US, they are not even basing their decision so much on whether you have made profit on the one you did last time. They want to see your process. They want to see that you have a good plan to be able to, that you've learned from the last one and we're going to do better this time. But they need an auditable process. You want to go to bank for 50 million, but you cannot give them an auditable accounting of the last 4 movies that you made. You are telling them that the website is down now. The people are working on it, which is their standard bullshit when you ask for their website. Okay, where is your accounting, detailed accounting for the last movie you did? Then you will hear that my system crashed and I had to reformat it. Once they start telling you that, run, oh, because that tells you that they have not done shit. Because if they've done it, a copy should be in the cloud anyway. There's nothing like my computer crashed. When you hear that, you know you are dealing with a very responsible guy who's probably going to take your money and not deliver. I know I've been there many times now. So I know the game. Number 8, I'm recommending every production must have insurance for location, cast, and crew. What we are doing now, yeah, I can understand. We are still behaving like we are in 1992. That's why I said that we are still an industry that started crawling and started working within a few months, that everybody was ailing it, and then we stopped growing. That same stuttering steps that we were taking in 1992 is what we are still taking now when it comes to things like this. Why will any production now not have insurance? We have insurance companies in Nigeria. And contrary to the bad reputation people are trying to spread about them, many of them pay when there's a need to pay you. I have guys who run those insurance companies. I've seen people get paid for their insurance when they had a tragedy. The problem is many never get insurance and they will tell insurance people don't pay. And that's why we are where we are. You should have insurance for your production, your cast and crew. If Ovire had insurance on that set, we won't be talking this. The tire guy will have been compensated. Those who got injured on our set, the medicals will have been taken care of by the insurance company. And even when she is sued, eventually, and I hope Taye does, and he gets judgment, the insurance company will be on the hook for that money too. But we don't think about that. What if somebody died on your set? How are you going to pay the damages? Every production must have insurance for production crew and set. They just had a fight. What if somebody had been hit in the head and they died? I'm talking about that set of Taye and Ovire. Does Ovire think that she's going to go scot-free if somebody died on her set and calls me? I'm coming for her. It don't matter who struck her on the head. It doesn't matter who killed the person. I'm coming for the producer as number 1. Then I'll list 4 or 5 others, production manager, and whoever did it. Everybody there is liable. And if you don't have insurance, you are so screwed because you'll be working for my client for the rest of your life. We don't think about this thing because you don't have crazy guys coming after you yet. But they will. The world is becoming so small. Lawyers are hungry, looking for ways to make money. By the time I start talking a lot about this industry, some of them will see opportunity. If I'm in Nigeria, I will have opportunity. I will specialize in set assault, since I know it happens all the time. I'll make sure they understand that I will sue and I will get money for them. They won't even have to pay me plenty money. We'll share the money I get with them. Maybe I collect, like in America, you collect 33% of whatever you recover. And you work at your own pace. I will gladly take about 3 or 4 cases in that set of Ovire. I will represent the production manager to sue Ovire. I will represent Taye to sue Ovire. That's just 2 right there. By the time I learn a lot about it, I may even represent others. We bankrupt that manager and the company. But if you have insurance, that's a whole different matter. Insurance company also will be insisting that you follow some simple guidelines, see how it helps everybody. Because insurance company that's going to insure you, they will have some guidelines for you to make sure that they don't go and incur liability on a very stupid producer. They won't give you money if people are fighting on your set. You too will know that there should be no fighting on your set. So a lot of stuff will get better just by mandating you must have insurance for your production, cast, and crew before you go on set. And AMP can insist on that. DGN can insist on that. It's what I expect the guilds to be pushing for. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if they've done this. I don't know if they're going to do it. They should be talking to their representatives. That law, they have to pass a law that is illegal for you to go on a set without insurance for production, cast, and crew. Because I saw one of those guys with bites on his back. People were injured on the set of Taye and Ovire who are not primary participants. Who takes care of them? Even Ovire herself, that her production is delayed, how does she get it compensated? If insurance were mandatory, the kind of chaos we saw on Lagos to Opulence would have been handled professionally instead of emotionally. You don't choke somebody. I don't care what she did. Because immediately that person will be calling Ope Banwo. I'll come for you. I'll come for your production. I'm saying straight up. I don't practice law in Nigeria. There are plenty of lawyers there now. I'll refer you to them. And I'm saying this straight up. If you're having problems on your set now, go look for lawyers. By the time people start getting sued for real and losing money, all of us will get sense. You need to have insurance for your set to cover your production, cast and crew, and even equipment. What if equipment gets burnt on the set? Are you going to tell story to the equipment owner? They're going to pay. That's why you need insurance. Number 9, I think producers, production managers, directors, and DOPs must be ranked according to competence and track record by independent bodies. This one I'm interested in investing in. If you'd like to work on that project with me, set up a ranking site that is going to do without fear or favor, that is going to be based on comments about you. What there'll be criteria so that it's objective. So that when people want to, if somebody is a tier 1 producer, it collects more money than somebody who say, let my people go producer based on ranking. That will help to elevate professionalism in this industry. We don't have that. A production manager that is saying you have to see my manager before you, my producer before you leave set and cause fracas, versus a producer that has learned how to do conflict management, de-escalated the thing, and save everybody time and money and embarrassment. They shouldn't be collecting the same money for production. So there should be a ranking. Banks are ranked. Lawyers are ranked. If you know where to look, there are reputable organizations that rank them based on criteria. Investment companies are ranked. Go to ProShare. Companies are ranked. Why not Nollywood producers, directors, a production manager, DOPs, and the critical areas like costume? In that my set, that was a disaster this year, March 2025. We had a costumier who did not even show up the first day at all. Meanwhile, all the cast and crew and equipment were rented. They were on ground. I lost 1.2 million naira that first day because of this lady. And then she showed up the next day. You know what her story was? Oh, I was arrested by police, so I couldn't call anybody. And there was no offer to refund my money. I also didn't have insurance, so I had to eat that. I didn't take her to court because I thought she had no money. But to sanitize this industry, it happens to me again, that person will be taken to court. I would demand, not just that 1.2 million naira that I lost for that day, I also demand damages just to make the point. And then get her disbarred in whatever guild that she belongs to. Sanctioned. Not, see, this is so important. Ranking that kind of person will have gone to go leave reviews for her. Ultimately, maybe she's now ranked as unranked. Maybe they have 5 categories. Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3, Tier 4. Maybe someone like her goes into Tier 0 or 5. So tomorrow, when you are trying to hire a costumier, you actually will go to that site and go check. That's if you're a serious investor. I'm not talking about the 5 million naira people who don't care. But you're coming from abroad, like I did. You want to shoot a 13-episode series for TV, not even for film. You carry your 30, 50 million naira, you bring it, and then you have some unprofessional lunatics who cost you that money twice. It's insane. Not every producer should lead a 50 million project, 30 million project, 200 million naira project. There should be levels. Some should not be beyond 5 million naira movie right now. And then when your level rises, you go to a 10 million one, to 50 million one, to a 100 million one. So this will be a good opportunity for a private investor to set up something, and we will figure out how to monetize it. I don't even know how we monetize that platform yet, but I think it has to be done. And we can't trust the guilds to do it. The guilds that we have right now, from what I could see of that very judgment, they are compromised. I say that. I belong to the 2 of them. Whatever they want to do to me, let them do. I'm going to critique that judgment in my next video. So I know as the guilds are structured now, they can't be trusted to handle the ranking. They're going to rig it. It needs to be done by an independent non-aligned person. And then when it's done right, over time, you figure out how to monetize it. Augusto & Co. monetize their own ranking system. They figured out a way to monetize it. And they were collecting millions every month just for that ranking. So same way in Nollywood, that ranking system, if it is done professionally, it might take a couple of years to figure it out, how to monetize it. There's money in it. And if there's no money in it, government or the guilds should look for how they can do it independently in a way that will be tamper-proof so that it can be respected. Because if it is not objective, nobody's going to respect it. If I know that they are rigging it, then I'm not going to waste my time going there. But if I know that this thing, to a large extent, is a very, very objective ranking, then it becomes a great place for investors to go before they commit their money. It is an inevitable part for us to go to the next level in Nollywood. Number 10. This one is a no-brainer. Nollywood needs to adopt global production workflow standards instead of excusing rubbish by saying the USA is different from Nigeria. Every time you tell them this is how it's done in the USA, they will tell you USA is not Nigeria. Is it not? Are people not watching your movie in America? The global market is one now. And that's why we cannot even get one movie to compete in the foreign films category in the last 2 or 3 years, because we have institutionalized rubbish. The truth is got to be said. I don't expect my guilds to like me today, but I'm a commentator first before I joined your guilds. So if you want to remove me, remove me. I don't care. It is embarrassing that we have Nollywood, the second largest movie industry in the world in terms of being prolific, and we cannot find one movie that we can enter for a foreign movie section in Nollywood Hollywood Awards, in the Oscars. Isn't that embarrassing? They are not even saying come and compete with the American movies. So they have a section that is called foreign films category, where we are supposed to be competing with Ghana, competing with Czechoslovakia, every other country in the world. Nigeria cannot even submit an entry. We have a committee that is supposed to sift 2 or 3 years in a row now. They can't find one good enough that they can submit. Shouldn't that be a shame on every guild? With all due respect to my directors guild that I belong to, and I'm associate movie producer, and including Guild of Actors. That can go and compete on the global foreign films thing, and you are doing what they call that thing. You're doing festival all over the place. I was in one in Nigeria recently. And now what's happening in Abuja the very next week. So you have lots of festivals that you do where they showcase all this movie, but you can't find one that will meet the requirements, because there are requirements that you can then submit for the Oscars. We were told they can't find any. We need to operate call sheets, hierarchy, safety officers, chain of command, conflict protocols, deliverables in the industry is called Global Production Workflow Standards. If you don't know what that is, go Google it. Let our guilds get their shit together on this. If they have it, then let them push it aggressively so that we know they have one. I'm not assuming they don't, but I don't see the effect of it, because obviously they don't have that in all these sets where fight is breaking out. Or if they have it, they don't know how to implement it, which means everybody needs to be retrained. We can't fly as an industry and be profitable. You can make movies all you want every day. You are doing it. 2,500 movies a year. Less than 10% of them are seen they're even making a return on investment. More than 90% is lost. I know I have several of them. I didn't make my money back, so I'm not going to tell you that everybody's making. No, that's why you still see some very, very popular, some very supposedly very, very experienced producers who are still driving Tokumbo car. Entertainment is where people live large when they do their work, because the reality is crazy. We'll talk about monetization another day, because that is an area that we keep neglecting to our own detriment. Entertainment is where the stars, when you see them, that the one that live in $10 million mansion, $50 million mansion. Why? Because there's a lot of money. Producers, they are kings. Script writers, even, if they know how to monetize their work, they make a lot of money. But we are not. At least most of us. And the few that they look at that like they're living well, either they are actors that get on 10 cents a month and they are paid very high. I'm talking about the A-level stars. They can't say they are making their money from their movies, maybe, like I said, 10%. Because we don't have global production workflow standards. So our production is not being able to compete globally, no matter how good they sound. And we need to recognize. Don't get upset if you're a Nollywood person listening to this. Just make notes and go try to be better. My job is not to come and make you feel good. My job is to say the truth. And right now, Nollywood is still taking first baby steps that it took in 1992. It's different actors, but our level in terms of professionalism is not. Even when the Alaba people were controlling Nollywood, it was better. At least they have an association, they can make decisions. You may not agree with their decisions, but those Alaba people, they know movie business. Their movies are profitable. They know ROI. They may not have gone to school, but they sabi very well. You have to respect those guys. But since digital has overtaken them now, it's now no man's land. The so-called educated ones, who's supposed to lead the way, they are still thinking as if we're in Alaba days. Number 11 recommendation here, as I begin to run this thing down. Violence on the set must attract brutal industry-wide sanctions. I can't overstress this. You want to grow an industry, violence should be zero tolerance. Not that you say it, like the guild said in their judgment or report over the Taye versus Ovire case. Then they went ahead and basically condoned it because they said one of them who was involved in the fracas, since there's nothing like one person fighting himself, they said that person did not do anything wrong. And then they banned one. No. We're going to come back and talk about that judgment, but let me tell you, my recommendation number 11 is violence on set must attract brutal industry sanctions, including permanent forever ban, so that people know you are not playing. What happened to Mary Chizieze in the story I told you that we all saw should never happen again. Crew members are not slaves. The Taye Arimaro versus Peggy Obire's clash is another bad warning, not just a story. And like I said, regardless of what they are saying, I hope Taye Arimaro sues and get millions from that production so that everybody can learn their lesson. If he sues, he will get money. They better figure out how to sort him out. This one they are saying they are banning him from the industry. The guilds are joking. In fact, I will sue the guilds also if I was lawyer. The guilds of producers, the AMP. How did you allow someone like Peggy Obire to run a set? You have to come and explain it to the court. A set where I get beaten up, where I was prevented from leaving set. It said that they didn't have contracts from what we are hearing. It said that they didn't have a conflict resolution other than go and park your car and block him in front. It said that he's doing kidnapping. Are you guys kidding me now? But they banned the guy. It's crazy. And I'm not even saying they shouldn't ban the guy if he was violent and he punched people. Then what about the people that were punching him back? Why are they still in business? Why is Peggy still having a license to practice, to go produce? You're saying she's done nothing wrong. But in the same breath, you're saying she write a letter of apology to the guild. Do you tell somebody who's not guilty to write a letter of apology? Those guilds were ridiculous in their judgment, and I will prove it when I come here. Again, I have no apologies. I'm a member of two of the guilds. The three guilds got together, the Guild of Actors, the Guild of Directors, and the Association of Movie Producers. And they came up with one report. So all three of them, it became an Osusi, it became an Okorisi, and I will prove it. It don't matter that I'm a member of the two of them. I don't care enough. They can fire me tomorrow. I don't care. Our professionals must also be educated to know it's a serious offense to try to prevent anyone from voluntarily leaving a sect. You can't do that by violence. There should be other ways to hold actors accountable. I'm not saying Taye did well. I don't know the whole story. I'm not saying he did well to want to leave a set, especially if his contract has not expired, but I'm hearing there is no contract. Everything is verbal. So how do you prove stuff? But you don't physically touch anybody. The production manager and the producer, and I'm getting hard on Peggy, and I know that there's going to be a blowback on this, but I don't care. I don't know her from Adam. I've never seen her before, I think. I only saw the videos, and I saw what she said, what her manager said. The production manager and the producer are both so dumb, and I'm using that word dumb. You don't have to like it, but hope you learn from it. I'm not a small boy. I'm 61 years old. You can't be older than me. Even if you are, I'm a lawyer. Come at me and let's go. The production manager and producer are both so dumb that they are even admitting on video that they asked people to block the actor from leaving the set. At least we saw that. They are saying Taye was sharing fake videos, but we saw your video. Your production manager went live on video. I have it on my system now. I'm like, how dumb can this production manager be? You go on air, and your story is that you are telling an artist who's a full-grown man at 11 p.m. at night that he cannot leave the set unless he goes to talk to your producer. And you think, you are putting yourself in jail because you basically admitted to kidnapping. You basically admitted to assault. You basically admitted to about 5, including terrorism himself, if you get a very bad prosecutor. That's why you're saying in your mouth that you told somebody to block him, that he can't go until he go, because you are not educated in the work that they gave you. If somebody trained you, Mr. Production Manager, and Madam Producer also, you will know that when that kind of thing happen on your set, the last thing you want to do is to make a public statement without your lawyer. If you have spoken to a lawyer before you start making that nonsensical video, which is now evidence against both of you, you will know you're not going to come there and admit in public that you told somebody to block him. By itself, that's admission of guilt to kidnapping and many other charges. Couldn't believe my eyes. The producer herself came and admitted she has another person to block. What the heck? It don't matter what Taye has done. You just admitted to crimes. So many of our people are so untrained, like those people, that they never even thought of speaking to their lawyers before going on video to incriminate themselves, thinking that they are hurting the actor. Oh, that they went to share fake news. You think they are hurting the actor? You are making his case for him. Because we also saw him on video. He never did any violence. I saw Taye, the video I saw with my 2 eyes. The man was very calm, was saying, why do you want to block me from going? I want to go home. Well, how do you stop a grown man, even if he has a contract? You can't go violent. There has to be ways. You could report him to the Actors Guild for him to be banned. What they are trying to do now is what they could have done. You will have let him go or beg him do what you have to do, sort of being violent against him, beg him, kiss him, doing what. In fact, I'm even hearing rumors that at one point they shared the same room. I don't know if that one is true, so don't come and accuse me of defamation. But that is the rumor I'm hearing. And I saw that in some groups. I quickly screenshot it so that tomorrow, if I comment on it, they don't say, where did you hear? So you know yourself. You must know yourself before you invite. I'm not even saying anything until what happened. It's possible you have a room, whatever. But you know yourself that month for you to even call the gentleman to be your lead actor. Why would things go violent? When you got in there, Madam Uvire, and I'm saying it to you directly as brother to sister, and things has gone out of hand where they have started boxing themselves, your job is to de-escalate. If possible, fire your production manager right there. It's called throwing somebody under the bus to avoid liability for your company. Now, what do you mean you stop him from going? You could have come to my room right immediately, and if he wants to go, let him go. Why would you restrain somebody? Don't you know that is wrong? You castigate your production manager right there. Tell him I even have calmed down. It's called emotional intelligence. When you come in there and you start going after your own production manager, even if you're going to beg him later in private, that's how these things work. That's what I would have done. When I go after my production manager, I will tell Tayema Binu, this is the John Long. I will now beg the guy. At that point, because seeing that you were on his side against your own guy, Taye might have decided to stay back and do the rest of the show. And then you won't have this mess that you have. Or at least if you have it, you will be excused. They will see that you did your best. But you got in there, you were backing your staff when they were obviously wrong. And then the guild is saying you did no wrong. The guild themselves, they need training. Everybody in that guild who sat on that committee. You must find more legal ways to hold your actors accountable for what you paid them for. I'm not saying they should go scot-free. If Taye violated what you guys agreed on, even if it's verbally, and there are people can testify that this is what you guys agreed to, then he's wrong. And there's a way you can hold. You can sue him for damages, for causing your set to lose money. And then you can report him to AMP, you can report him to DGN for him to be disbarred. At that point, you are going to have evidence. But you have no case now that you are going to go allow violence to happen on your set. It don't matter if Taye started the fight. Nobody fights by himself unless Taye is a madman who's on drugs. He didn't just start punching everybody and then he himself will have injury and then your production manager have injury, other people have injury. Then we saw the videos. It takes two to fight. And two wrongs can never make it right. Even if Taye was wrong, you retaliating and getting involved in a professional setting will get you this bad. Babe or not, I don't care. Number 12. Then I'll bring this to an end. The guilds should ensure digital and streaming monetization becomes core curriculum for all major practitioners, especially producers and marketers. This is where we're a little bit different from Nollywood, because most of our movies in Nollywood don't have the structure where you have somebody from day one on the team, their job is to market the movie. Another one, their job is to go raise the money. Another, their job is to go produce. Another is their job to go direct. Most times in Nollywood, the director is also the producer, and it's also the one that brought money from his pocket. In about 50% of production, the producer is the one that is putting money down or going to go raise the money from investors, not even executive producers, even though that's what they call them. But they go and meet somebody and say, give me, like I met one producer, nice lady. And then she's asking me to come and put in, I don't know, 50 million naira in a YouTube channel. But she can't articulate for me, I'm going to get 60 million out of that money in 1 year. Our channel is even empty as at that time. When I say I didn't have money to give, I'm like, I'm not giving this lady my money. She put her own money. And she's been doing movies that she put her own money. But guess what? She's not making the profit she needs to make because she doesn't understand monetization. She has not been trained in it. She's just doing Jagbo style like our friends are doing. Okay, we're going to give it to City Circuit. We're going to give it to Benga. That is the extent of their knowledge. And she's talking about this after she's done the movie for most of her movies. They don't do pre-monetization before they go to set. In fact, one of them laughed at me when I mentioned it in a group. And I'm going to do a video about how you need to pre-monetize your movie before you even go on set, especially if you're a solo producer who's probably using his or her own money. A producer is supposed to produce and give it to the person who gave you money, right? But if you made obligation to make them money, then you need to learn how to make the money. If you're a director who is spending his own money to go direct, then you'll be a very foolish man not to understand totally how to monetize your money, your movie. So our guilds needs to ensure that digital and streaming monetization must become core curriculum for all major practitioners, especially producers and marketers. A producer who doesn't understand the economics of AVOD, FAST, SVOD, international licensing, dubbing rights, foreign language dubbing, right? Syndication, market segmentation, has no business leading a production. And then they will tell me the producer is the most important person. They know it's not. It is the person that make the money. That is the most important person. Because if you make all that movie, and that's where we are, and nobody to watch it and nobody to pay you, then investors start looking for you with police, like they do for most of you. In a very, very messed up industry. Somebody gives you money to make movie, and then because you guarantee that if it gives you 20 million, you're going to be able to make 30 million. Then at the end of the day, you make 2 million. Now the person is using police to arrest you as if you committed a crime, because that is what we have. So learning monetization should not be an option. And this industry need to take it as serious. Recently, we had a 3-day event or 2-day event that was even organized by the government. Guess what? They had 20 minutes to talk about monetization. I know because I was the one that was invited to do the 20 minutes. Then they gave me 10 minutes to do a presentation, then 10 minutes for Q&A. In a 2-day event, where they spend about 6 or 8 hours every day. That's what we spend on monetization. It's ridiculous, and we need to wake up. When you have a 2-day event, the whole day out of that 2 should be on monetization. That is the number 1 need of Nollywood right now. Nollywood doesn't need much training on how to make movies. They're already making it. They make 2,500 of it a year. So making movies is not their problem. In fact, we need to make less. Making more movies is not a problem. It's less movie we need. What they need to understand is, how do I put my marketing mix together that if I spend 50 million, I can make 60 million in 3 months or 100 million. It's not like Jalaba days where it's mono marketing. You carry your movie to an Alaba marketer. He knows the people he's going to give it to who have stores. Then after that, the only place you are going is TV. So you have a bicameral monetization at that time. But the Alaba people who are making it work, they know their ROI. That's why they will cut one movie into 4 parts, because they know that if they do it in 1 part, with the amount of money they are spending, they will not make money. And they are not doing the movie for art. They want to make money from the movie. Alaba boys are not into art movie. They are there as a business. So they sit down and they work out their ROI before the movie goes to market. So they have to cut the movie into 4 parts. That's what the heck they're going to do. And they know how many people they're going to give it. And from experience, because they have records, they know how much each seller is likely to make for them. So they can calculate their ROI before they go to the market. But the world has moved on from them, right? The so-called educated people now, they are lost at sea. You're going to go spend 50 million on a movie. You don't have a solid plan to make 100 million. And yet you are going on set. When I say plan, I'm not talking about something you are thinking in your head. For the AVOD platforms, you will have contacted them in advance, even with your script, that I'm bringing this movie in 2 months. And get maybe 10, 20 commitments for the AVOD platforms. For the SVOD also, that work can be like 6 months before you go to set, 7 or 3 months. Or you have a monetization manager if you don't want to do it yourself. That is the kind of thing Nollywood needs. They may not need it in America, because you're not going to get money from anybody without somebody who's in charge of the business end. Somebody will give you their money when they're not mad. Okay? So a director can make movie and not have a clue about how he's going to sell it, because that's not his job, really. A director is supposed to direct the movie, collect his fees, and go home. But in Nigeria, director, producer, we are all commingled. So our own system needs to evolve at a way that will work for us, meaning that every serious production should not be thinking about hiring a monetization manager. Even if they have to go do training from ground, it's okay. You don't have to pay them too much money initially. You pay them a basic fee plus commission on what the movie earns. Let them go learn about how to do AVOD, where before your movie comes out, you know it's going to come out in 20 AVOD platforms, both locally and internationally. Fast TV channels are thousands all over the world, who will sit down, get the list of over 100, 200 of them, be on phone call with them, be on email with them, get commitment from 50 of them before you go on site. There's the SVOD, the subscription video on demand, who will have been in conversation with them, will have had some soft commitments Somebody who will learn about international licensing and how to go about it. In the day of digital, it's not that complicated anymore. They can do everything from the office. You don't even need to travel. Once you know what to do, where they are, what to do with them. Dubbing, foreign rights dubbing, how does that work? That will even be part of what you plan on your shoot. Foreign language dubbing is one of the hottest, fastest rising income generator. The Mexican community is done it to us, but it's like we're not thinking. All of us are in love with Telemundo and all of that. What did they do? They dubbed English over their Spanish voices. And we're all in love. And Nollywood movies, as far as I'm concerned, is better than Telemundo. We are better in terms of acting, in terms of technical, as far as I'm concerned, than many of them. Forget their white-looking skin that is chopping most Nigerians. But they've been able to export their movie into Nigeria because they are doing foreign language dubbing. They're putting English on top of. Why can't we have Nollywood movies where we do foreign language dubbing, where RMD is speaking Chinese or speaking Spanish? With AI tools now, you will surprise it, it will not take you 2 days to have a foreign dubbing of different languages, in Portuguese, in English, in Spanish. And then you get your monetization manager to start hunting about how they will place them. Do you know how many AVOD platforms are in Mexico or Spanish countries, or how many SVOD ones or fast TV channels who are looking for free-to-air channels? That's what they call fast, right? That will take movies from you. Every cover matters. So when you then have a grid, you know that AVOD, we are going to be going live on 20 of them, beginning from July. For fast channels, we have 50, 20 in Mexico, 10 in China. And all of that, we have contacted, I've responded, and I've seen our trailer or whatever. Then your subscription. So by the time you list your 10 different ways of making money, I just listed some of them. And I'm going to be doing some serious training on this shit. Okay? Foreign dubbing rights. Are we even looking at that? What do you know about syndication, movie syndication? It's not rocket science. You can research this stuff. How do I do a foreign syndication for my movie? ChatGPT will tell you, or Google will tell you, or list of places that will syndicate my movie from Nollywood. It will come out. All it takes is them contacting them. Yeah, you may contact 100 before you get one, but it's a business. Once you get one, your next movie, your kidney will start getting better. And all you need is just one person to dedicate initially. Not to do anything else. Don't send him to go and be buying rice. And because treat him like a personal assistant the way we do everything. Not tell him to come and carry camera on set when you are shooting. His job is monetization. Let him fucking sit down and tell you how you are going to make money with this movie in a planned way. I'm spending time on this because this is the area I have special interest in. I'm not going to tell you I've mastered it. But it always starts with knowing what you don't know. Once you start knowing what you know, then it gets better, and it gets better as you begin to experiment. I myself am hiring 2 monetization managers this month. I will train them myself, at least the theoretical parts. Then let them go. Then as they begin to work, we will know the one that is practical, that can work. We will know the one that will not work. But it will be their full-time job to look for how to monetize my movies. How many of us in the industry have that? Some of us have staff of 10. There is no monetization manager in any of them. It's a producer that is trying to monetize. The same one that is doing director. So we are so screwed up, and then we don't make any money. When you could hire a good person to start for a minimal amount, there's a lot of unemployed graduates out there who will also want to learn. It may take them 1 year to actually get good, but you have to start from somewhere. You can't just rely on the aggregators. Even many of us don't know who the aggregators are. Who are the aggregators? You got to have meetings with them, either on the phone or whatever, know how they work, know their rules before you go on set, so that when you finish the movie, it is compliant. Not that when your movie is out, all the fast channels you're approaching are not telling you that it's not compliant because of this, because of that. Or the SVOD channel will not tell you it doesn't meet our whatever. But that's what we do. We don't pre-monetize before we go on set. I think I've said a lot about that. I'm going to be talking a lot more about digital and streaming monetization because that is an area of particular interest to me. Okay, but those are my 12 recommendations. See, because now I got to bring this down. time is really up. So those are the 12 critical reforms Nollywood desperately needs. And like I said, I want to encourage you to get a copy of my book, One Country, 2,500 Movies. What is wrong? Confronting the problems with Nigeria's movie industry, who is responsible, and how to fix it before it is too late. Check it out. This is a critique of the industry. In fact, this is just like a chapter in your book, so that we can learn and grow, because it's very well researched. It took me a couple of months, but thorough research, 2 months of research for a book now is a lot in the day of AI. Because every aspect that I want to learn from, just a couple of prompts, I will learn I'll get the receipts I need. And I wrote it with AI tools. And then my YouTube monetization playbook is going to be coming out next week. Boom, we just finished editing it. I'm in love with that book because I've not seen any in Nollywood yet. So please go get it. Now, let me bring this to a close. If you are still watching at this time, please, you can see you're going to get a lot of value from this TV program. You want to hit that subscribe button, and you want to enable notifications so that when I go live at Nollywood Fanatics TV, you can be notified. We are about everything that has to do with Nollywood. We're going to be talking. We are going to be reviewing movies, brutal reviews, good and bad and ugly. We're going to bring it to you like you've never seen before. We're going to be doing training videos on different parts of the Nollywood business. Of course, we're going to be doing rants like this one, but this is not all we're about. We're going to be doing a lot of rants, and then of course, we're going to be doing syndication of my books as a video that you can just watch or listen to. So please join the channel if you have not yet joined it, so that we can form a community. Actually, I should have had my WhatsApp community for Nollywood Fanatics. I will announce that next time. We are those who are interested in continuing to follow the Nollywood Fanatics community. You can join a WhatsApp group. It's going to be free, so that we can continue to interact as a Nollywood community. Apart from the other ones that we have, I'm in several right now, and there's nothing wrong with them. I'm going to continue being in them. I'm in the one in a few of them. Let me not mention names. So here's my conclusion. The stakeholders must draw the line in the sand for all practitioners now. Talking about the guilds, we have to draw the line that the era of impunity must end. We have to stop this idea of, what is it called? This idea of let's not spoil their name. We got to stop all of that. We need to stop this don't spoil their name culture. Some names need to be spoiled for the industry to heal. We have to start calling people out. I'm going to have on our side, maybe I will have that where you call out people there, come and report them. We will bring it up. We will investigate ourselves before we talk about it, so that we're not going to spoil anybody's name. But if you have a case to answer, if the guild is not performing, we will call out the guild so that the guild can go do stuff. And I will start with myself. I told you about those two directors. I already told the guild of directors that I'm going to report those two, that they should assure me that they will be tried. They didn't answer me, but I will send in the complaint anyway. And if they don't do anything about it, I'll be calling them out on this channel, 100%. Nollywood cannot continue using makeup to hide its injuries. We cannot continue shouting global takeover when the spine of the industry, that is the leadership, the producer class, the guilds, the production managers, when the key parts of the industry, when the spine is broken, especially the producer class, is fractured, unregulated, untrained, and in many cases, unaccountable, even though we have a great guild. AMP has been there since forever, but if they're doing their job, we won't have time to have this show today. So if Nollywood wants to grow up, this is the hour. Not tomorrow, not next year. We need to fix the producer class. And in that producer class, I am including the most critical elements of movie production. The producer, the production manager, the DOP, the heads of departments, 6 or 7 of them. You guys know who they are. We fix that, and the Nollywood will rise like a phoenix. But if we ignore the producer class, Nollywood will bury itself. Like I said, this is my maiden salvo for Nollywood Fanatics TV. More will be coming, you know that. Next, and you want to look out for that on my channel, Nollywood Fanatics TV. The next video that will be coming out is Taye Arimoro versus Peggy Ovire. The WWE fight on their set and the shocking and embarrassing decision of the 3 guilds who investigated the matter. Please look for that video next. It's going to be coming next right after this video. My comments or my thoughts on Peggy Ovire versus Taye Arimoro fight and the decision of the guilds. Please watch it right after this video or check it on my channel, Nollywood Fanatics TV. It's my YouTube channel, Nollywood Fanatics TV. And we have a blog, nollywoodfanatics.com. That's where I'm also going to be posting blog. Everything will not be video. Sometimes I just want to write. I wake up in the morning and I just want to write. That is where you're going to be getting some of the best blogs about this industry. Yes, so me, I've decided to be a committed observer and commentator in the industry, while I also champion AI-based productions in the industry. That's where I want to do my directing and my production now. I'm no longer interested in physical movies. I've been burned too many times that for me to even get involved in it anymore. I'd rather spend my money on AI-based productions that I can control, because that is all happening online. So I'm going to be talking a lot about that also, because that is also part of Nollywood. A lot of our physical producers right now, they denigrate it, they laugh at it, they think it's nothing. But that is the future. In 3 years' time, we are going to have an AI RMD starring in one of my movies. You say Dr. Ope Banwo said so. AI is where it's going. I'm going to have some of the biggest names who will be cloned with their permission. Once they get it, they get royalty for allowing their clone to be used in movies. It's going to be a whole different ball game, and that is not far away. 2 to 3 years. The current class of leaders are going to be supplanted. You can say whatever you want. AI is here to stay. It's already getting close to real life. There's some AI videos you watch now. You can't tell whether it's real life or whether it's AI. And when the technology really catches on to that, which will happen in the next 1 or 2 years, it's a whole different ball game. I'm not going to say physical movies will die, but AI movies will compete. Because the fans cannot tell the difference, then it comes down to marketing. Those are the only 2 things that interest me. Being a public commentator on Nollywood and AI productions. Let each man and woman in the industry decide which side of history they want to stand on, as we all get together to make Nollywood live up to its potential. We need everybody. There are great producers who need to be better, great directors who need to be better, great costumiers who need to be better. And those of us who are chasing AI, we also need to be better. But we need to grow as an industry so that the world, and more importantly, the marketplace, can give us the financial respect that we deserve. If you enjoyed this show, please help me by putting your comment on the YouTube channel, please. It's Nollywood Fanatics TV, youtube.com/ that sign, YouTube, Nollywood Fanatics TV, or just Google it. Please put your comments on this video. I want to know what you think. Do you think I'm too hard on the industry? Do you think this needs to be said? Do you think I'm arrogant? Do you think I'm rude? I just want to get your opinion. It don't matter to me. It's important for me to also get feedback from those of you who are watching this. If I need to slow down, if I need to change tactics, advise me. I don't take it personal. You can call me whatever name you want to call me. I know that many times names come out of what people think of you. So I don't take it negatively. After all, somebody named me the Rottweiler. Other people will get upset. I didn't get upset. I just asked her to explain. And she did, and I realized that she's not lying. Because when a Rottweiler bites, it doesn't let go. It will hold that bite and hold that bite and hold that bite until blood comes out. And I could be a Rottweiler when I'm invested in a situation like Nollywood now. I'm not leaving you alone. The law is coming. Of course, governance. So we all learn from what people have to say about us, even when it doesn't look complimentary initially. So please give me your comments. I promise you I'm not going to take it personal. I may respond to you. In fact, I will respond to you because I always do. But know this, every comment that you give me is a way of helping me to also grow. God bless you. I will see you in the next episode, which is the case of Taye Arimoro versus Peggy Ovire and the decision of the guilds that is driving me crazy. Coming up right after this, click the button and go watch that or check it on my channel. And I will see you there right now.